right, I'll call the mayor and council meeting for December 18th, 2023 to order. Clerk Baker, can you call the roll, please?
Deputy Mayor stepping in for Mayor Hedrick. Councilor Patterson, Councilor Artali, Councilor Sheffield, Councilor Norris are present this evening.
All right, and let's stand and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, and we will start with recognitions, awards, and memorials. And I'll turn it over to Chief Burton.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Dave Burton, Chief of Police for the city. I have a whole bunch of officers to recognize for a couple of incidents that took place over the last few months. It's always a good thing to look at the work that these officers are performing and to let you as the council members and also the public know what that looks like within the city. So the first one took place on October 14th, 2023. And this is a life-saving award. Officers Clark and Cardell responded to a medical call at a residence in the city of Groton. Upon arrival, the officers located an 83-year-old female resident who was not breathing. Officer Cardell immediately began CPR, while Officer Clark retrieved and deployed a department-issued defibrillator. The officers continued to administer life support aid to the female until such time as Groton Fire and ambulance arrived, at which time she was transported to an area hospital. By the time the transport was conducted, the female was breathing on her own, and a check of her condition 24 hours later showed her to be in stable condition and undergoing continued care at the hospital. The actions undertaken by the officers were key in preserving the life of the female and are exemplary, representing the highest degree of service that an officer can provide to a member of the community. Therefore, it is my pleasure to bestow upon Officer Cardell and Officer Clark the City of Groton Police Department Life Saving Award. Please come up. Next. All right. This one is an investigation that took place in November. On November 6, 2023, members of the Groton City Police Department detective and patrol units executed a search warrant at a residence located within the city. The search warrant was a culmination of an investigation involving narcotic sales from the same residence. As a result of the warrant service, 112.9 grams of cocaine and $12,640 in cash was seized as an identified profit coming from illegal narcotic sales. The 53-year-old male occupant of the residence was subsequently arrested without incident and charged with possession of narcotics, possession of less than 1/2 ounce of crack cocaine with intent to sell, and possession of narcotics within 1,500 feet of a school. The above incident highlights how effective communication and teamwork within the department made the city safer by removing dangerous narcotics from the street. The subsequent investigation, seizure, and arrest reflects the commitment of the members of the City of Groton Police Department in carrying out a primary objective of service to their community. Therefore, it is my pleasure to bestow upon Detective Sergeant Holliday, Corporal Brittany Dela Cruz, Detective Daniel Hammett, Corporal Paul Ruddy, Officer Scott Lesage, Officer J.P. Precourt, Officer Jason Hopman, and Youth Officer Stephanie DiBenedito, the City of Groton Police Department's Unit Citation Award for exemplary service. Please come up. You're not Brittany. Oh, sure. You're in order. Oh, okay. Brittany. All right, where's Paul? Come on up. Dan. Scott. There you are. Steph. Jason. And JP. All right, congratulations, folks. Photo? Okay, this last one's a little different because it recognizes one of our dispatchers, and dispatchers tend to be a forgotten group within the organization. This is for dispatcher Brittany Rodriguez. On October 14, 2023, Groton City Police Communications received a phone call reporting that an 83-year-old female resident was not breathing. Dispatcher Brittany was on duty at the time of this call and was responsible for collecting all required information as well as directing officers to the scene. This was done efficiently and effectively and made possible by Dispatcher Rodriguez's calm and professional demeanor as well as her communication during what was a stressful situation. The efforts of Dispatcher Rodriguez contributed directly to the ability of the officers to deploy life-saving CPR measures. By the time medical transport was conducted for the female, she was breathing on her own, and a check of her condition showed her to be in stable condition and undergoing continued care at the hospital. The actions undertaken by Dispatcher Rodriguez were key in preserving the life of the female and are exemplary representing the highest degree of service to a member of the community. Therefore, it's my pleasure to bestow upon Dispatcher Rodriguez the City of Groton Police Department Unit Citation Award. She's not here. Is she working? I'll keep this for Brittany. That's it, ma'am. Thank you.
I'd like to take a 5-minute recess. We'll go out, and maybe all the counselors will just take one big photo with everybody, and then we'll be back. All right. Next is receipt of citizens petitions comments. Do we have anyone signed up? Clerk Baker?
None.
Do we have anyone in the audience that would like to speak? None. Okay. Then we will skip response to citizens petitions comments and go to approval of the minutes. I'll take a motion to approve the mayor and council minutes of December 4th, 2023.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on those minutes? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. I'll take a motion to approve the special committee of the whole meeting minutes from December 11th, 2023.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on those minutes? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Communications and reports. Counselor Patterson? So anything to report?
Anything that you did in the community or anything else?
So, well, before we continue, I just wanted to add, I know the mayor was going to talk about this too, but the communications and reports is also the time where you would talk about what happens in committee meetings. So if you have a committee meeting and there's something to come out of that, that would be a good time to talk about that. And I know he wanted to mention that to the new counselors. So since he's not here, I'll mention that. And that's all. Next, Counselor Piazza.
Nothing to report, thank you.
Counselor Talley.
Nothing, thank you.
Counselor Sheffield.
Nothing to report.
Counselor Norris.
Yes. I received a couple of calls over this past weekend regarding the Beach and Park Committee. None of them was a staff person, but so they're actually committee meetings. And they were asking questions about a procedure to look at, not their operations, but their rules of order, I guess, and if they should be using Robert's rules or not Robert's rules. So we did discuss about, and something in the next section that we could possibly talk about is referring it to a committee that would do some type of benchmarking with other communities to see what their advisory committees do. The kicker with that is any committee or commission is advisory if it has to go to council. So we can talk about that in the next section.
I just wanted to make it known or bring it to everybody's attention that as it stands, there's no meeting, no mayor and council, no committee of the whole until January the 8th. There will be a special cal. But the committee of the whole at the end of December, the normal mayor and council that would have been January 2nd, those have both been canceled.
The January 8th meeting is going to be a special committee of the whole or a special mayor and council?
I believe a special committee of the whole. Because the mayor and council would have been January 2nd.
Okay. Okay. Only because I know there's some things that we're looking to get moved. So I'll double check and make sure the mayor may want to add a special mayor and council meeting to January 8th, but I'm not sure, but just a warning. My communications and reports. Since the last meeting, I went to the town council swearing in for the new town council. Congratulations to all of the town councilors. I had a good chat with some of them. We're working, I talked to the new mayor, Mayor Franco, about doing more joint meetings. We used to do them pre-COVID, and then COVID kind of ruined everything. So we were doing them quarterly, so we would have a meeting with the city council and town council at the same time to talk about things that are joint, which aren't a ton of issues, but it was also just nice for everyone to get to know the other council, because we do collaborate on a lot of things. So I think that should be coming down the pike. Maybe not a regular scheduled one, but at least one in the next, quarter to kind of keep everyone on the same page. And also, like I said, I personally think it's a good idea for all of our counselors to know all of their counselors, at least know who everybody is, because I know that we all get questions about town issues and town gets questions about city issues, and it's nice to be able to say, oh, Mayor Franco is she's really all about the beautification committee, so she knows everything about, the beautification committee of the town, so that's who I send people to who ask questions about that kind of thing. So that hopefully will be coming down, the pike soon. Not exactly sure when, but, so keep an eye out for that. I attended the Stuffer Cruiser event and the Winter Farmers Market. They were at the same time. It did rain, so it wasn't the best weather, but people still came out, and the police department had a good showing there. We had Santa, and I think there was someone dressed up as an elf. There was Mrs. Claus, so it was a fun time, and the winter market was well attended. And then on this past Saturday, I drove Santa through the city. I am looking at ideas, and maybe that will be referred to, maybe, I don't know what committee that would make sense to put on, but some ideas to maybe improve communications with residents, because we had a lot of residents afterwards that still, even though we've posted it on Facebook and done a lot of things, weren't prepared for Santa to be outside. So I talked to the mayor about possibly doing maybe some kind of initiative where they can call in and give us their address, and so we can make sure that they're on the route if they want Santa to stop by their house. But but that was well received. We had a ton of kids come out for Santa through the city, and it was 55 degrees and sunny, so that was so much better than last year when it was like 30 degrees and cold. That is all of my report. Next is committee referrals. Councilor Norris, would you like to make a referral?
I need help making that referral because I'm struggling as to what committee that would go to.
So I do, I think it would go to Parks and Rec, because they would be closely, for one, the Parks and Rec committee should get to know the members of the Beach and Parks Committee. So I think it would go there. And I think all the committees are run with Robert's rules. That is the governing rules, barring any bylaws or other rules. It's up to the committee can vote to put additional rules in their committee. That would fall under, the chair or the staff designee adding it to the agenda, and then the whole group discussing that and voting on it. But without specific bylaws or rules for that committee that they have voted on, they would follow Robert's Rules of Order. That's what they should be following. And I think I had a discussion with the mayor about checking in with every committee to make sure that they have the resources they need to make sure all the committee members know Robert's rules and, the Freedom of Information Act rules and all of that stuff, because we did find that there are individuals who didn't know to ask for that and haven't received the training. So I know that that is on his agenda, or on his radar rather, to check in with all the committees, which I talked to the clerk about as well. But I do think it's a good idea to refer it to Parks and Rec as, especially as we're starting a new term, to have that, at least that chairperson of that committee kind of check in and make sure that they've got some rules in place.
Sure. So if I may, can I make a referral to the Beach and Parks Committee
Yes.
to benchmark with other communities procedural rules for our Beach and Parks Committee?
Yes. And the clerk.
You mean Parks and Rec?
Yes, our
Yeah,
council committee is called Parks and Rec, but
Okay.
the outside committee is called Beach and Parks. And I
Got
don't
it.
know why that is, but that is how they're labeled in the charter and in the act that created the Beach and Parks Committee. So we can't really change it unless we change one of those things.
Right.
Counselor Piazza?
Could that possibly be referred to the Rules Committee, since that's being
I mean,
created? And then
it-
they would oversee that to kind of make it consistent across the board?
I
Because the
believe,
Rules Committee would not just see, if we're talking about Robert's rules, but how things are conducted. That would address also, it sounds like, what they need.
my only thing with that, the Rules and Procedures Committee of the council, I believe addresses the rules and procedures of the council. I don't think that committee has the purview to address the rules and procedures of other committees. which the clerk can maybe check on that, but I'm pretty sure that's the case, that the Rules and Procedures Committee of our council is for our rules and procedures. I do think it's a good idea, as Councilor Norris said, to get some benchmarking of what other beach and parks committees do. Do they just use Robert's rules? Do they have more in-depth rules that they use, that kind of thing? So Clerk Baker, do you have that to put on the agenda for Parks and Rec?
Yes, I have the referral to benchmark with other Parks and Rec for rules.
Perfect, thank you.
Possible parliamentary procedures.
Any other committee referrals? All right, we will move on to new business. Counselor Patterson? The first resolution is yours. Should be in your packet. It's 147 is the first one.
R-23-12-147, resolution that the mayor and the council approval the appointment of Stacy Pop, 41 Cottage Street, Groton, Connecticut, as a regular member, Beach and Parks Committee, term to expire on December 31st, 2025. I so move.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. This was discussed at the committee of the whole. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Counselor Piazza?
Thank you. Resolution R-23-12-148. Therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council approve the reappointment of William, Borsowitz, 28 Country Club Road, Groton, Connecticut, as a regular member, Beach and Parks Committee, term to expire on December 31st, 2026. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This was also discussed at the committee of the whole. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Counselor Artali.
R-23-12-149. Therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and council approve the reappointment of Jennifer Smith, 67 Tyler Street, Groton, Connecticut, as a regular member, Beach and Parks Committee, term to expire on December 31st, 2026. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This was also discussed at the committee of the whole. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? One abstention. Counselor Norris? Motion carries. And Counselor Sheffield.
Resolution R-23-12-150. Therefore be it resolved, the mayor and council approve the reappointment of Barry Toohey, 14 South Prospect Street, Groton, Connecticut, as a regular member, Beach and Parks Committee, term to expire on December 31st, 2026. I so move.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. This was discussed at the committee of the whole. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Counselor Norris.
R-23-12-151. Therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council authorize the city of Groton to issue a purchase order and treated road salt to Morton Salt Incorporated, 444 West Lake Street, Suite 300, Chicago, Illinois, in the amount not to exceed $58,000 and no cents, to be paid from funds encumbered from the approved fiscal year 2024 Highway Department operating budget. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This was discussed at the committee of the whole. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Counselor Patterson, back to you.
R-23-12-152, resolution that the mayor and the council authorize the acceptance of a grant in the aid award from the State of Connecticut Department of energy, and environmental protection in the amount of $17,500 from the design and installation of rain gardens at a municipal complex property, 295 Meridian Street, Groton, Connecticut, 06340, and that the mayor, Keith Hendricks, be authorized to execute and enter into a funding contract and agreement with Deep. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This was discussed at the committee of the whole as well. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Counselor Piazza.
Thank you. Resolution R-23-12-153, therefore be resolved that the mayor and council authorize and approve a donation of $1,000 and no cents to the ARC Eastern Connecticut, 125 Sachem Street, Norwich, Connecticut. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This was discussed at the committee of the whole. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Counselor Artale.
Resolution R-23-12-154. Therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council authorize and approve a donation of $1,000 and no cents to Groton Community Meals, 119 High Street, Mystic, Connecticut. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This was discussed at the committee of the whole. The only discussion I wanted to add, Ron, you were not here last time when we discussed this, I think, right? But you provided the documentation, and I just wanted to say thank you, because it was nice and thorough, and I always appreciate that. It helps me make better decisions, even though I don't get to vote now on this, but. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Counselor Sheffield.
Thank you. Resolution R-23-12-155. Therefore, be it resolved in accordance with the provisions of the Connecticut General Statutes, such Section 7-474B, the mayor and the city of Groton Council hereby accept the aforesaid agreement, and that the mayor is hereby authorized and directed to execute said agreement on behalf of the city of Groton. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and second. This was discussed in executive session at the last meeting. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Counselor Norris.
Oh, boy. Okay. R-23-12-156. Therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and council authorize Groton Utilities Management to issue a purchase order to Howard Industries CO Power Sales Group, 175 Andover Street, Suite 301, Denver, Massachusetts, for an amount not to exceed $456,536.40, including a 10% contingency to purchase 11 pad mount transformers to be placed in stock to be paid from fiscal year 24 electric non-bonded capital pending approval of the Groton Utilities Commission. I so move.
Second.
Could we have a reread on the amount,
Yes,
please?
can you please reread the number?
Yep. $456,537.40.
Thank you. Is that okay with the second?
Second. Oh, sorry.
Motion, we have a motion and a second. This is new on the agenda. I'm gonna have Ron Gaudet come up and explain this resolution.
So first, I'll explain why this didn't go to committee of whole before it came here. We bid this out, and the bid quote is good for 30 days, and it actually expires like the 5th of January. So the 5th of January is before the next meeting opportunity. That's the 8th of January possibly. And therefore, we shorted it, and we decided we'd bring it right to council today, discuss it, and let you decide and vote on it now. So routinely, the utility buys transformers. Transformers are either the tubs that are at the top of the poles that you'll see in the streets, or they're possibly the green boxes you'll see outside in underground where there's buried utilities feeding the facilities. So this is a routine restocking. We're buying 11 transformers. These are all ground transformers that'll be on the ground, not ones up in the poles. And the interesting thing about transformers lately is that we used to be able to get them in 4 to 8 weeks. They used to be in stock. You could just buy them anytime. Currently, the wait period for these is we requested 4 bids. 2 people actually put in for the bid. 2 of them couldn't satisfy the bid. One vendor was supplying 2 years, about 2 years delivery time. This vendor is offering 1 year delivery time with prices just about the same. So we went with the 1 year bid, and we really have been trying to get these in stock, because if we have a storm, you might go through a bunch of transformers. If they get flooded, you might go through a bunch of transformers. And if you don't have them, you can't get from the high voltage on the very top of the poles is 13,800 volts. The voltage, if you go down to the next row, is house voltage, 208. So you really have to have them in stock. So we actually did a bid. Howard Industries won. It's for the amount that you read. And I'll answer any other questions you have.
Does anyone have any questions? Councilor Piazza?
Thank you for explaining the mount transformers. So you said all of them are going to be ground for the for those that are buried?
Yes.
Is there a reason why all of them are going to be ground?
These ones, this particular order is just all basically pad-mounted transformers that go in or sit on
Right.
ground mounts. Prior, we've ordered the tub
Oh,
transformers.
okay, so prior you already ordered the ones for the poles already?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about these transformers is they're, a lot of them, when there isn't a storm or they just go bad, they're used for new developments. So a few of the new developments and things going on, I think I had it here, was we have Triton Square Apartments. There's an expansion. That's a new development. We have a Route 12 car wash. Cardinal Honda is actually upgrading their service to use more power. Bestway Gas Station is a new gas station that's actually going in. And in the near future, the Sealy School is actually having transformers installed there for their electrical supply. So it's interesting. It's good when we need to buy transformers, because that means we're using them to expand the business and increase growth.
And what's the life expectancy of them? These specifically?
These
said-
generally last 30, 40 years or so, unless an anomaly happens or oddity in a short or something like that.
Okay. And if something happens in oddity, is there like, I'm thinking like car part or other parts that so if it was to malfunction, is it an even exchange, or how does that go about?
As a general rule, we'd we have a stockyard that has a lot of these sitting around of all the different sizes that we need. The guys would go out, discover whatever it is, they'd swap it,
Oh,
bring
okay.
it back to the yard, and then determine if it can be fixed
Okay.
or sent out and rewound or something like that.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Any other questions? Councilor Norris?
2, if I may. Just wondering why it's coming to council first before utility commission approves.
As I said before, in order to get this approved, before the quote expires, the next utility commission meeting is this Wednesday.
Oh, okay, I get it. All right. And then if you can help me thinking out loud. So there is new construction regulations with any new type of construction that has X number of square footage or X number of parking spots have to have EV charging stations. Does this have anything to play into that, or can these even be used?
the answer is yes, these transformers do supply those voltages.
Okay.
The question that the utility is currently dealing with electric vehicles is a general rule, there's plenty of power at the user level. Let's say a neighborhood plugs in, if it happens, say, so one transformer generally feeds either 2 or 4 houses. If those 4 houses all happen to get electric vehicles and all of them plug in 1 or 2 at the same time, we may be stressing the size of the transformers.
Got it.
So there
Exactly.
could at some point be a wholesale need to change lots of transformers.
Right.
And if everybody converted to electric vehicles today, the system could not supply the power.
Conversation for another day.
Years
It's
down the
a
road.
giant topic.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Any other questions for the director? We only have 4 people. I think I want to wait for Stephen to get back. To take a vote. We don't need to, but he didn't get to ask anything, so I wanted to make sure he didn't have any questions. I'll ask a couple questions. So how many we're buying 11.
Yes, 11.
So how many do you usually keep in stock of these transformers?
The stockyard will have usually 4 or 5 of each of the different types.
Okay.
And I'm not sure how many exact different types are, but there's quite a few in the yard.
And we're not gonna get these for a whole year anyways, so we can't really predict, like.
Right, but those projects I mentioned will be pulling
Yep.
stock out of the yard over the next year. So believe it or not, all we're doing is replenishing the stock in the yard by the time that these actually come
Okay.
in.
Perfect. Counselor Sheffield, did you have any questions? Okay, all right. If there's nothing else, I'll take a vote. All those in favor of this resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you, Ron.
Last, well, not last, because we have executive session, but there's a resolution, you pass these out to everyone, right? We had another thing that came up just today that is also time sensitive, so we had to add it to the list. So I need a motion to suspend the rules to add resolution R-23-12-159 to our agenda.
So move.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second.
The verbiage you were waiting for.
No, and this motion is just to add it to the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. And then who read the last?
I did.
Oh, you did. So it goes to Counselor Patterson. If you can read resolution.
R-23-12-159. Therefore, be resolved that the mayor and council authorize the approval building department to purchase one model year 2023 Chevrolet Bolt Eve from Chevrolet in Milford, 655 Bridgeport Avenue, Milford, Connecticut, for price of $28,105.05 to be paid from Capital Reserve Funds. I so move.
Second.
Can I? Yes, can I have you reread that price, Tony?
$28,108.85.
Perfect, thank you. And
Second.
thank you. Yeah. Ron, can you, Director Uhas?
So this purchase has been going on for quite some time now. It actually started under previous building official Joe Summers. And we put out an RFP back in December of '22 that closed in January of '23. We received 2 bids, the low bid being just under $34,000. However, the vehicle color that they had available was white at the time. The building official fleet and what we had asked for in the bid was gray or silver to keep the consistency of the building official vehicles. And the second bid was just under 41,000. So the decision at that point was to hold off on moving forward there. With that first RFP, we issued another RFP on August 1st of 23, closing the end of August. We only received one bid in that round, which the low bid was just over 36,000. However, the vehicle that they had at that time was a metallic blue. So again, it didn't fit within the bid specs. So we've been having a hard time trying to find them. So what he ended up going off of the state bid, which we've used for purchases in the past. It's a process that the state of Connecticut puts out an RFP for vehicles and light trucks. We use that, and they've kind of done that work for us. So now it was just a matter of using that. We could use the vendors on the state bid, which is Northwest for the Chevy Bolt. In the RFPs, we had the Chevy Bolt or equivalent. So now we're just kind of focusing on the Chevy Bolts. They are no longer making them after 2023, and there's some issues with electric vehicles in the state bid process of how they're going to move forward with it because it's expiring. So with calling around, called Northwest Hills Automotive, who's on the bid. They didn't have anything available. It just so happened that another one on the state bid, Chevrolet of Milford, who actually had put in two of the proposals when we bid it, each time, they just ended up getting a few of them in, and fortunately one of them was a gray metallic, so it ended up fitting all in. I apologize for the lateness of it. This quote actually came in this morning, and then in discussion with the deputy mayor, realizing that meetings were going to be canceled and the next meeting wouldn't be until January, the timing of them holding this vehicle for us, we thought it made sense to come tonight with it, just with the timing of it, and we didn't want to lose out on it. And this is an electric vehicle for the building department.
So I just wanted to add, in the mayor's absence, I know the mayor is interested, we have electric chargers outside, we own our own utility. He's interested in having our staff that, don't travel long distances at one time. So for example, the building official travels within the city, moving them to electric vehicles to save on gas and to, utilize the resources we have, which we have installed an electric charger outside. So I know that it is the mayor's desire to do that, and so this has been pushed by him to move in that direction. Does anyone have any questions for Director Uhas? Councilor Piazza?
Yes, so this is a vehicle in addition to the fleet, correct? So there's not going to be any trade or?
So there is no trade on it. What this actually did was the previous building official's vehicle got transferred over to the Parks and Rec director, who was in need of a vehicle. So that vehicle will go for auction, the former Park and Rec director's vehicle. So it's not in addition to the fleet.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Norris?
So does that mean we'll be a vehicle down if that other vehicle goes to auction?
Nope. So the previous building official's vehicle was was switched over and transferred to Park and Rec for the director of Park and Rec to now use.
Yeah.
So that left, and then her vehicle will go to auction. This vehicle will essentially replace her vehicle.
Okay, got it.
It's just kind of a swap around based on the vehicles and the needs of the departments.
Right. I just want to thank you and the deputy mayor also to act on this quickly, because I know a lot of dealers that are on a state bid are moving down to 5-day response. So this is pretty good. Thank you.
Any other questions for Director Uhas?
I have one, but don't worry about it. So
Okay. All right. Yeah.
you can.
And yeah, I want to think, I happened to be in the building and Director Uhas asked if we should add this, and I agree, that was my concern, is I don't want to lose a car that fits what we're trying to do, and then we end up waiting another 8 months, a year, who knows, in the climate. So, thank you. With that, we'll take a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you, Ron.
And with that, I think our attorney is online, so I hate to do this to you, Chief, but I have to take the attorney executive session first. So I'll take a motion to move into executive session. We're going to pursuant to Connecticut General Statute 1-206B, regarding union negotiations to include the council and Attorney Chris Hodgson. I need a motion for that.
I make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. We are in executive session. We just gotta wait for, yeah, yes.
Shut down. Here's Chris.
Recording stopped.
Okay.